Welcome to Bemovation. My name is Nolutando Chabalala, also known as the advocate of self-love. This is the platform, the channel, the podcast where beauty meets motivation. We are still dissecting the title, Channeling Your Inner Fire to Pursue Your Success. I'm sitting beside an amazing woman. She is a sign language activist. Her name is Andiswa Gebashe. You have seen her. She has her own memes. She has her own thing going on. I love her so much because she is the president's sign language interpreter. But besides that, she is very much involved in the deaf community, uplifting, empowering, and engaging both the deaf and hearing community so that everyone can be included. And this year, in fact, let her tell you, because this year she's done some amazing things. Andiswa, thank you so much for coming and welcome to the Innovation Podcast.
That's a beautiful introduction. I'm like,
I'm
is that me? Is that me? But here's the show. I don't want to get in trouble. Like if you say the president's interpreter, the president doesn't have an official sight interpreter. However, but thank you for putting that out into the universe. Going to the presidency, and he should have an assigned interpreter that he travels with.
Can we just say it the way we see it? Because we see you and the president all the time. So in our eyes,
and you know it's funny,
the president's interpreter.
And you know it's funny, I haven't interpreted for that man in a minute. Okay, until recently for the SONA, but through ENCA.
Yes.
But
yeah,
it hasn't. But people still go.
Because there's that, you know, I mean, you were there.
I receive it.
I think it's coming from COVID, right? Because during COVID, you were the consistent sign language interpreter for the president, right?
That's correct.
How did that feel?
It felt amazing, but without being too modest, really. Like my light always shines in every room that I walk in. So there could be 100 interpreters, but I'm the one that will go, that one, you know.
Yes.
And I think I'm now fully embracing it, that I'm just one of those people who are going to be noticeable.
Yes.
Who are going to, the light shines brighter, and I just only hope that my light just helps the others to shine even brighter along with me. So it's just that. It felt amazing, but very challenging, and the pressure was on. And now every time I jump on stage to interpret anything, I have to be better than I was yesterday.
The standard has been set.
The standard has been here, so now I can't go because everyone's like, let's see what she's going to do.
Exactly.
You know, so it's that, but I enjoy it.
I love it. And we can tell that you enjoy it. So I know that I introduced you and then you came in with a point of correction. So I would still love you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
To the viewers at home. Anyone between this one and the one.
Okay. So I am Andiswa Gebashe. I am a coder. Coder means a child of a deaf adult. My father is deaf, Usfiso Gebashe. My mom, Ukhozi Gebashe. So ngiyingane kaMagomede. So hey, so the Gomedes. Yes, I am that. I am a mom. I am a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. I am a language activist, specifically South African Sign Language. I love human rights. I love this country and everything that we stand for.
I love that. I love this country and everything that we stand for. Chavicho, Zanzi, Saudi. And so, you know, the topic that we have this season, we are exploring channeling your inner fire to pursue your success. And I would like you to really just take us to the beginning of where you started this entire, you know, I can't even call it a brand, but I could say it's really a purpose from where I'm standing, from, you know, what I see. Where did everything come from with you being a sign language interpreter and getting involved with the deaf community?
Yes. I think my life has always been a mixed bag, but a mixed bag of positivity and fighting. And it was only later on where I'm like, okay, so I can be an interpreter and an activist.
Yes.
I don't think you can work with languages and not take a political stand, whichever direction.
Correct.
You know, so like I said, my father is deaf, married to a gorgeous mom.
I mean, we see it, right? And I'm sure they love each other, right? Because we can tell you're a product of love. You're a product of love, we can tell.
Yes, they've been married for what, 43, 44 years?
Yeah.
And my mom is hearing, my father's deaf. I look nothing like my mother. My sister looks like my mom. My mom is gorgeous, a little bit slim, slender, nyana, tall. My father's short and dark. So I look like my dad.
You look chocolate.
But because he's a handsome man, thankfully, my mom chose well.
Yeah.
Yes. So I grew up signing. My sister and I grew up signing, all of us in the family. And I just took South African Sign Language as I turned it into a career, but it is my home language.
Yes.
So that's the language I'm mostly comfortable in expressing myself. All this spoken English here is secondary. You know, I express myself better in South African Sign Language. And started interpreting informally. But the activist started when growing up, where I would see my father being excluded in family events, in family meetings, in, you know, smaller nyana things where if you are a kishini, someone else would shisa impe, but not my dad. You know, and it just bothered me. I'm like, but he's my dad.
Yes.
You know, like, why can't he? You know, so he was looked at because he's deaf. Therefore, there are certain things that he'll be excluded in. So I've just always fought for my dad without being aware that I'm fighting for his basic human rights.
Yes. Yes.
You know, accessibility to information. People will talk over him. I'm like, nah, but did you speak to dad? And they'll just look at me like, no, but I'm like, yeah, no, speak to him. You know, so it just started there. At high school, I went to a deaf school. Was the only hearing person at the deaf school.
Was this your decision?
This was my decision, solely my decision. My parents were actually against it, and I was like, no, this is what I want.
Yes.
And I felt more seen. I felt heard. I felt, because there was no, you know, hearing people. Hey, it is sometimes.
I like how you exclude yourself in that.
You know, there's just a bit of there's the culture. In sign languages, there's honesty all the time. Tell me if I'm happy, I'm happy. If I'm not happy, I'm not happy. You will see it.
Yes.
There's no way of masking it or don't, because the grammar of the language is Sipsweni. So you can't really hide that.
The grammar of the language is right on your face.
So what I'm saying, how are you? Or are you happy? Would you like some tea? How are you feeling?
Yes.
It's all here. So there's no way of masking it, you know.
Yes.
And black is black, white is white.
Yes.
With spoken languages, you kind of have to, you know, sugarcoat,
create
and, you know, create, you know. And there's none of that. You know, if I love you, I love you. If I don't, I don't.
And I can see it.
And I can see it, and I can say it, and no one will take offense.
So what I'm getting from what you are sharing is that the fire was really sparked by you not liking how your father was being treated because he was deaf.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So can you see that fire that we are talking about can be sparked by anything? And what made you heed the call? Because you could have done anything else. You could have actually gone, you know what, Shem, Dad is going to be fine. Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure he's used to this, but I'm stepping up. What was the reason behind you saying, I indirectly or directly want to fight for my dad?
You know how some of the things sounds very cliche when someone says, this is actually one of the things I was born to do.
Yeah.
So interpreting is not just a job for me. It's one of the things that I was created to do, amongst other things, because I'm not just one. Of course. I have many layers.
I mean, you're a woman. There's no way you could be just
and many
one
skills
thing.
and many boxes, which is why I have a problem with that box, because I just could never be boxed. So it just made this lovely woman, Asanda Kajwa, and Uthelma could say.
Yes.
And they were already interpreters on SABC at that time.
Right.
And bump into them in Durban, and I told them, like, actually, I can do it better than you.
Yeah.
Laugh! I couldn't. But in my mind, I just like, I can do this.
Yes.
And I can actually do it better. And they gave me a chance. They're like, okay, cool, let's see. And that's when I got my first training, and I was mentored, and I did Buddies on the Move. So Buddies back then. And sport rap on SABC Sport. And I was like, actually.
How did you find yourself in that space between those two ladies, amongst those two ladies? Because everything boils down to opportunity meeting the moment, right? Yes. So obviously you had been studying and being involved with sign language. Now, how do you find yourself amongst the two people that are already doing what you then declare that I can do it better than you?
I was like, ooh, the liver.
The audacity.
Right?
Yes.
And at that time, I wasn't formally trained. It was just because I could sign and I could understand a deaf person speaking.
Yes.
And I just went to a deaf school. And one of the blessings, I've never applied for a job in my life. I don't know how it is to send a CV.
Yes, and be interviewed.
I've always been headhunted, and that is such a blessing. I don't take that for granted at all. So how I got my first job to do Soul Buddies on the Move and Spotted 10 was through these ladies.
Yes.
They were running an agency at that time, and I joined their agency. Only then I trained formally at VEDS and through them.
Yes.
But I've just never applied. They're like, okay, cool. We'll train you, we'll mentor you. And then while you're studying, and then I did Soul Buddies on the Move. That was my first TV gig.
Yes.
And then I did Spotted Rap, and then it just didn't stop after that. Yes.
It just kept going and going.
It just kept going and going and going. And all the opportunities came because I was under their agency.
Yes.
And 7 years later, then I started freelancing.
So what was the mindset that you have? Because you are here, right? You're finding yourself in a position where you have the desire to be part of it, but you know you're not qualified per se.
Yes.
What mindset, because that's what the Bemovation podcast is about. We are matching or we are trying to display so that people understand what it takes, right? So that we can really just minimize this disconnect where people think, oh, she is an interpreter for the presidency. I'm sure someone like me can never get there, right? I'm sure it'll take you a while, but we don't say you're not going to get there. What mindset propels you to go into spaces where you know you're going to add value and not doubt yourself?
Oh, for sure. I've always been a confident child.
Yes.
Because of who my parents are. My mom was a model. My dad a stand-up comedian. So at no point were we like, oh my gosh.
And they love each other, right?
And they love each other. And they love me and my sister dearly. When I joined SASL, the point and the game was very clear in my head. I want to be the best interpreter they have. At no point should they doubt my skills or who I am. And at that point, in my head, I was like, one day I'm not going to work for them. I'm going to partner with them.
Yes.
Because that's how much value I'm going to bring. And when I was doing those two shows simultaneously, in my head, I was like, my vision, every space where I go, I want accessibility. If I can wake up in the morning and every deaf person knows that whatever gossip is happening, Trump has said this, our president Cyril has said this, Malema has said this, whatever the case might be, without having to look and suffer and look, which is there an interpreter, we're a world where as a sign language user, I can walk in any theater show, I can go to any music show, I can go to, and I'm catered for.
And watch any music video.
It's still a dream. It's getting there.
Yes.
But if I can one can just wake up and everyone has accessibility, because what accessibility does, it gives you choice.
Yes.
It empowers you to decide, do I actually want to watch this podcast or
Correct,
not?
yes.
You know, but without that, I'll never know, because I don't know what is being offered.
Yes.
But if you give back that power of which we are the hearing privilege, who take it, because we choose what you must have access to and not.
Yes.
Every day, producers, directors, they make that call. So for me, that is the drive, you know. And every time I hear you can't, I'm typical, no,
you stubborn.
I'll do it. You tell you, you see this, I have a piercing here.
Yes.
I had one, and then I met a guy who was like, ooh, if you're going to be my woman.
And you
I went on to the second one. I was like, let me go and get a second one. Let's see now. Which was silly, because now I have a second piercing.
No, it wasn't, because, I mean, come on.
But every time you tell me no or you can't.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. And I want to prove that, no, I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watch you. I mean, we've known each other for quite some time. You know, I know people in high places. And one of the things that I've observed about your work is that you stretch yourself, right? You have no limits. I mean, I remember the very first time I saw a music video with sign language interpretation, and I believe it was you, Java.
No, it wasn't. It was
wasn't.
Fortune Matlala, a wonderful interpreter.
And I know that you've done work with, recording artists to actually interpret their music.
Yes.
Like, in terms of the external world, or let me say the world that is not the part of the deaf community.
Yes.
How difficult or how open are people to incorporating sign language into their world? So incorporating your world and their world.
It's very difficult, but what I've learned over the years is that people buy into what they like.
Yes.
And if they like you, they gravitate to your energy. They're more inclined to listen to what you are saying or what you are selling.
Yeah.
But in general, people are privileged. So if hearing doesn't affect me, I don't see a need why anyone else, because I'm so privileged that even my learning, sometimes it's accidental when I'm opening a radio and they're speaking about a topic or a funding or something. Now there's this thing with businesses that if you're not registered like this, your business is going to be deregistered. No one is saying that to deaf people.
Sure.
And millions of them have businesses and companies. So at what point do we say, let's be inclusive?
Yes.
And I'm not talking just by government as a whole, because they have a mandate. Corporate, they have social responsibilities.
Yes.
So over the years, I've seen that it's not about doing what's right. People go, okay, I like you. I feel okay, all right.
There's a lighter connection.
Maybe we can do it. But generally people don't have that political will or that will of, it's actually a right thing to do. Let's do it. Some are generally ignorant, Some are aware, but they're like, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, why should I bother?
Why should I bother? So it's that thing of, let's just find a balance of doing what's right. I mean, it goes to opportunities.
Yes.
There are people at a position to create spaces for people who are qualified for a certain job, but because of their color, they're like, nah.
Correct.
Really?
Yes.
No, let's not do it.
Yeah.
Or the gender. She's female, and she yaps too much.
She's opinionated.
We just want someone just going to keep quiet, smile, and
look pretty.
And look pretty. So it's just those. It just depends on companies and individuals.
Yes.
Do they really want the change? Do they really want to impact? Do they really want to change a young girl's life, a young boy's life into something better?
Beautiful.
Yes.
I know that you've recently, in fact last year, you've done some amazing work, right? Stages on stages on stages. Let's start with Miss South Africa.
Yes.
How was that experience? And from your understanding, really, what value did it, having a sign language interpreter as part of the entire pageant, what value did it bring?
That was so emotional for me. And I think having a deaf person winning Miss South Africa was even...
Right.
I was like, I didn't even finish the show because I couldn't stop crying at the end. What that did, the amount of DMs and WhatsApp that I got, people so emotional that for the first time, we got to sit as a family to watch Miss South Africa, something that has never happened.
Because say that to the camera, because I want people to feel the energy
that whole week I was just so emotional. Where for the first time, even at home, my mom got to sit with her husband and watch Miss South Africa, and no one was excluded. It was oneness. It was beyond just, there's a small box there. That box that was there provided accessibility, provided inclusion, but also it also said, we see you.
And it brought South Africa together.
Families together. Because now if I'm watching something and it's a language I don't understand, it's your thing. I'm not going to watch it. So it was that. So it was really beautiful. Rilbohile and her team did absolutely amazing work.
That now, does that also translate to the other events that you've also basically worked on, like the feathers and SAFTAs as well?
Yes, yeah. Because it was the same production that did the SAFTAs.
Yes.
So, which was, and also because it was on SABC. If it was broadcasted on SABC, they have a mandate to, because now South African Sign Language is an official language, it's 12 official language.
Yes.
So they have to make it accessible. So it was beautiful to see how open-minded they were, from the background to the lighting to the detail that they paid attention to.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can tell how much people care or don't care.
Correct. It's just the by the way.
Let's tick a box. We did it. We had a box. She moved her hands. Tick.
Yes.
We're not going to care about the size because the size matters. Because the size is the volume.
Yes.
Whether is it on 2, can I hear, or is it on proper 10, 12?
And you know what you're saying is so important, and it's very valid, because that element of just, being nonchalant, not caring, just ticking the box. I mean, we saw it happen a couple of years ago when we had that.
Ma'am.
Like, what happened there? I know it's something that happened a long time ago, but this is a bit of tea we had
at the memorial service
at the
of
memorial
the late
service.
Utatu Mandela. It's just not caring. It's, you can sign. Oh, okay, come through, And prior to that fateful day where an American had to complain about it and report, we had been complaining for 2 years.
Goodness.
And the government at the time and the ruling party at the time said, no, we will look into it. I think what was even more disappointing, I know I might get into hot waters for this, but it is the truth. What was more disappointing was having a deputy minister at that time. I think she still is the deputy minister of a certain department who has a disability, by the way. She stood in front of the nation and said, no, he was doing vernacular sign language. We're like, sorry, what? I don't know vernacular sign language.
That was
what on earth is that?
Goodness.
Because that does not exist.
Yes.
But to still being able to be there to defend nonsense, basically.
Yeah, instead of taking accountability.
Instead of saying, you know what, we messed up, we apologize, we are sorry, move on. So for me, it was really disappointing, the lack of accountability and the fact that nothing happened to the guy. And what's even sad is that to date, you still have interpreters like Samsung Machanchis.
Yes.
There might be a level better.
Yes.
But they're still there. We still see them. Because we don't have regulations as yet.
That's where I was coming to
we don't have regulations as yet. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, they're working on it.
Yes.
Please,
I mean,
so we can have a council, because we don't have a council as South African Sign Language interpreters. We don't have a board, we don't have regulations, we don't have a system of accrediting as yet. There is a voluntary body, but it only has 2-3 black interpreters that are being accredited by them. Hello, they should tell you something.
Correct, yeah.
And majority is white that are being accredited in South Africa in 2025. And you can only, with this body, only from English to South African language and vice versa. Not in isiZulu to sign language.
Yes.
isiXhosa to sign language. I'm just like,
hello. So there's so much to be done.
So there's so much to be done. There's so much to be done. So which led to that, of just take anyone.
Yes.
Hopefully they've learned. And
that was a big global lesson.
It was.
That was a
But Isha Masnayo, yes. Asnayo, let's
not be shady.
Yes.
So at any point, was there ever any point in your life where who you have become now and what you've achieved and the stages that you've got on, was there any point where you thought it's not happening, it's not going to happen? Because in pursuit, while as an individual, you are following that fire, right? Which is very clear that for you, that fire was always there. And I would like to think that your father was truly, the inspiration behind that fire propelling you to pursue your success. We know that days are not the same. And there are people that go through a slump for 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, sometimes even for life. Have you ever gone through that? And how do you then pull yourself out of that?
Many times, honey.
Yeah.
Many times, and I should be going through. I'm really, really, really blessed for the type of person that I am, because it's not by my own creation. I mean, right now, I was just talking to my manager. I'm like, hey, well, girl, we haven't worked.
Yes.
It's been a couple of months. What's going on? So we have those. And because one has grown.
Yes.
And one is no longer the same price as yesterday.
Correct. Yeah.
And there's someone who's willing to do it for 20 rand.
Right.
And it would be disrespectful to myself, to the knowledge I have, to my skill, to the person that I am. I am one of the best in the country.
Correct.
I'm not the best, but I'm one of the best.
One of the best, yes.
You know, I'm right in the top 5, if I may. So pay me.
Yes. Yes.
You know? So it's that. So sometimes I've said no, and it hits. But I don't regret my no's.
Yes.
I've said so many no's that when people come to us, they go, Ish, we know that this is what you have. If you say no, we would understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. You know, I respect that and I'm happy with that. But how does one come out of that? It takes so much to bring yourself to be saying, actually, I'm good.
Yes.
And I can do this. And the sun is going to rise tomorrow. It's cloudy today, but the sun is going to shine. It takes so much emotionally, spiritually. And there are days where I don't wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to.
I don't want to face the world.
But I do have a daughter that I'm responsible for.
Right.
And I want her to know that not everything is going to go your way. Some days are good, some days are bad. But you need to get up and dust yourself and try again, as Aliyah now.
Yeah. Because if at first you don't succeed,
exactly,
dust yourself off and try again.
But also, I'm a huge fan of music. I was raised by hip hop.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone can be a hip hop head or love the genre and not be confident and believe in the fact that
come on, like I'm so glad you're saying this.
Yes, because every music carries certain spirit,
energy, yes.
You know, and certain energy. So the type of music I love and listen to, from your Tandiswas to your Buhlebendalo to hip hop, I'm a lover of hip hop.
Yes.
I love it, AKA. I'm just like, there's no way you can love hip hop and
not
be timid and be like,
yes, and not be confident.
That's how I'm one of the best, nigga.
This is why I'm so happy that for once in my life I've come across someone who shares the same notion.
Yes.
Because people will be like, oh, you're so old to be liking hip hop. I'm like, it's not about
old.
It's the energy.
It's the energy,
because hip hop, I feel, is such a language of aspiration, going beyond what you see, what you know.
Yes.
I digress. Yeah. That was just a beautiful moment.
Yes. So I have music to lift me up. I have prayer, I have meditation, I have affirmation. They're just, okay, girl. But I must be honest, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. I'm not going to stand here and have a facade of, I just, switch. You know, it's not easy. It takes time. But I'm also very fortunate that I have really quality people around me.
Yeah.
I have very few people. I have few friends. But the people that I have around me are like super quality people. Yes.
I love
and
that.
who are always honest with me.
Yeah.
I'm better like, I get
cool it, shift it, adjust it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they proper quality people. Yes.
I know there's a lot of, and every time I have a female guest who is a mother, I ask this question because there's a lot of conversation online around motherhood. Some women want to be mothers, some women don't want to be mothers, and we support both ends. What has motherhood done for you?
Oh, excuse me. First of all, it was a surprise.
Surprise.
Yes, it was a surprise.
Yeah.
When I was young in my 20s, I was told I won't have kids.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so I did not, and I had set my mind, my heart, and I won't have kids. Because initially, when I was young, I was like, I need a big family. Because at home, it's just me and my sister.
Yes.
And that's it. I was like, I'm going to have 5 kids or 6 kids. Yay. And then I was told that I wouldn't have babies, and I was married before. And after a year of married, boom, I'm like,
And
I
then
was Zaya, and it was an offer. I was like, what is this now? I'm not ready.
I didn't even know it could happen.
It could happen. What is this?
Yes.
But I don't see myself not being a mom to the daughter that, and my daughter is, I've never hit my daughter. Not because I believed in, let's not hit. No, she's never given me a reason to go. So shy, she doesn't have that. She's such a good kid.
Yes.
Smart, big heart, kind, and just a good human.
Your daughter, basically.
My daughter, yes. I'm just like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm scared to have a second one because I don't know.
Because I think I can tell you.
I don't know.
Second bonds or last bonds or the middle child.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Yes, but being a mother has helped me from those days where I don't want to get up, but I have this human that I'm responsible for. And I feel just being a parent, you choose to be.
Yes.
Because there's so many mothers who are mothers because they were pregnant and they gave birth.
Yes.
But they're not really mothers.
Yes.
And fathers as well. It's a choice that one makes. I am going to be a parent to this human and be responsible for this person.
I love that.
Yes.
In terms of, the legacy, because I truly believe that what you have in your hands is a legacy. And we once touched on this before on a separate platform a long time ago. Is it something that you plan to also pass on to your daughter? Or just by mere default, she is going to? Because what I feel that you're doing here, Andiswa, is really trailblazing. And with your zeal and your passion and focus and dedication as well as commitment, it is going to be so much bigger than what it is right now. Like so much bigger. And this is the part where I pour life into my guests, where it will be, I don't even know. I can see it in my head. It's a bit hard to translate it. But when I say legacy, I mean even to the extent of even infrastructure, supporting the deaf community, supporting the work that you do. Is it something that you plan on passing on, or it's just going to happen by default, or you are open to your daughter basically taking it on or not?
I am open to her being whatever, as long as she doesn't get into drugs.
Of course.
Alcohol, all those funny things.
Yeah.
Right now she's in grade 5.
Yeah.
She's in grade 5 and she's a young actor and at first I was like, oh no, but I've just let her be.
Yes.
And I would hear her says, oh, mommy, when I take over your company. I'm like,
smart girl.
Ma'am.
Smart girl. Goal-driven life.
Like, okay, ma'am. So,
Yes.
And I think I just want her to be whatever that she wants to be a president. She wants to be a dancer. She wants to be, but also because she has access to my world.
Correct.
And I enjoy that. And I enjoy taking her behind the scenes in different stages.
Yes.
She has spoken to the president via a video call before, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And she's met Miss South Africa. She's met so many people, people in the industry, directors, producers, and I love that for her, that she sees that it's not only here.
Yes.
I take her to my sister's work. My sister's a CA, so that she just expands her world, that she sees as a black girl, I can be whatever I
desire.
Exactly.
That is amazing. I mean, being exposed to all these individuals and it's part of your world. It really reminds me of a quote that I once read. I just don't remember where and who it is by, that stated that we live in one world but different universes.
Yes.
Because you are exposing her to a whole different universe of high caliber people. I mean, of course, she's good. You as a mother. I mean, so it can only go higher from there. In terms of now, Andiswa, just the challenges that you have as an individual, because I feel like we've touched on the challenges of the industry, the challenges of the community. You as a person, where your strategies, your dreams, your goals are concerned, not only for the work that you do, but just, in any area of your life. What are those challenges and how do you overcome them?
I think into my personal life and career.
Yeah.
because I don't think they divided, they intertwine. And if this one lacks, it affects the other one. If this one, it affects the other one. I think just being a single parent, holistically, is sometimes it comes with its own challenges. Because, and sometimes we say I'm a single parent because we've divorced or because you've broken up, but there's still support. No, single as in financially, spiritual, emotionally,
and otherwise.
I have to make the decision by myself. And sometimes I just need another person to say, what do you think? Which school do I take her? Because I know that's going to have an impact in how she thinks, how she views life. You know, which sport does she do? You know, so that sometimes comes as a challenge. And being in Joburg, we don't have that community.
Everyone.
You know, we create our communities, but one is in Sandton, one is in Oak Cliff, one is in Centurion. It becomes hard to have that community of this weekend the kids are here, that weekend the kids are here. So, which does impact my work. And in terms of my work, I think just not being able to afford an amazing team, one that can run this and do this and do this, so that I just solely focus on creating. You know,
amazing not being able to afford an amazing team yet. Right.
Because I just have two people running the show. Udog, who's amazing, and Unana, precious. But I want to expand that so that my focus let's create a music show. You know, and I just focus on the signing of the music and the creating, and let's do theater, let's do this, let's do a movie, let's do a kiddie show. And my focus is just on creation. So that are those challenges for now. You know, which is changing.
A passing moment.
Which is changing. And you know, when Bruno Mars says, I see my name in shining stars, when those credits go up, I see the Andy Science production. I'm just like, Tony, my time. And I know how excited I got. And, you know, some people are like, oh, please, that's nothing. I'm like, no, it's everything. When I saw my name on credit for Netflix, iNumber, I'm like, that's not
it's everything. Who would even say that's not? It's everything.
That's the people I cut off.
Good
Very
girl.
easy. Cut, block. You know, when I partnered with Tammy Dish to do the Feather Awards, which was something extremely amazing for me, and to be given that space and to be seen when Unontokozo Madonsela, the group marketing chief, marketing at Momentum, and spoke to her briefly, and then she's like, you must come and do a TED Talk at my work. And I did, a TED Talk for executives at Momentum. I'm like, girl. And a few months after that, I did a real TED Talk. You know?
Wow.
But to just be given those opportunities, and for me, they mean the world. And I know that there's this thing of, I work well with men. I work amazingly with women. And most of the doors that have been opened for me are by women.
Women, right?
Like, I gravitate so much better to powered women. And also because I aspire to be there. I want to be there. And
I'm looking at you like,
do you know what I mean? Yes, and I really, really, really love that and enjoy that because they love what they do, they believe in themselves, and they're not shy to share their light, to say, here's a torch. You know? So I really value those things. So because when this goes well, this one goes well. And if I'm winning, I'm a happier mom.
Right.
And if I'm a happier mom, I'm raising a healthy child.
Correct.
And I'm not going to install the thing of men are this, men are lovely. I love men. Well, not, but they're lovely human beings. But there are those douchebags.
I love men.
But you have those douchebags every now and again. But also, I just want to teach my child that you can be happy. Whether you get married or not, you can do this life happy.
So how do you fuel your happiness as a person? Because, I mean, you know, Bumovation is beauty with motivation. How do you fuel your beauty? How do you fuel your happiness? The things that make you stand out, make you beautiful, whatever it could be.
Well, affirmations in the mirror. I love the mirror. And I'm teaching my daughter because unfortunately, when I was married for 5 years.
Yes.
And in that marriage, because abuse took place, and I was told I was ugly. And at some point, I actually believed it.
Wow.
Hold me. I mean... And I actually believe I was ugly, So it took therapy and a lot to believe that I'm beautiful. And now I never miss a chance of not telling myself that I'm beautiful.
Yes.
With makeup, without, with
of
hair,
course. I mean,
with
look at your skin.
Nothing. I just go, girl.
Yes.
I mean,
this
look
is
what
me.
the Lord has made. And I've translated that to my daughter.
Yes.
And because she's dark skinned, and there's this thing of, or if you're dark, then you are not.
Of course, yes. Colorism.
Yes, colorism. So I've installed it at a very young age that she's beautiful. Wetter skin, wetter hair. She's got natural hair.
Yes.
She's slim.
Yeah.
She's dark. She's got funny teeth.
Yes.
But they're cute.
Yes, of course.
But now, like the way they just go, oh no, I'm beautiful.
Of course, yes.
I'm like
100%.
I like that because you are. So it's just mirror. Telling yourself until you believe it. If unfortunately you're at a point where I was, where I didn't believe I was beautiful anymore. But just to get back to that, to say, hey guys, no,
yes.
I don't care what happens. If anything.
And you are, for real, you are. And
Yeah.
I'm not even just like,
even here
buttering
as well.
you because you're my guest. You
Thank
are.
you, ma'am.
Even energy-wise,
Yes.
This is such a wholesome conversation. Does your father have any idea how much your world was inspired and ignited by him? Does he have an idea? Does he know?
I don't think he has a full picture.
Yes.
Like he's aware, but it's just like, not like a full picture.
Yeah.
And I think both my parents just inspire me so much. My mom with kindness. My mom is the most kindest human I know. Genuine, laughing all the time. Helping people.
Yes.
Like my parents are my role models.
Yes.
And the more they get older, I'm like, just God, please keep them for another, another
more time.
My father was in a car accident the other year. I broke down because I was just like, what would I do without this man in my life?
That's your
Please.
rock. That's
just,
Yeah.
So I don't think, he has an idea because people come up to him and they tell him how amazing his daughter is.
Yes.
They was like, okay, this one,
Yeah.
But also I think he still looks at me as that 10-year-old.
Yes.
As that, like,
his
when I
baby.
do things, he's still shocked. I'm like, Dad, I'm almost 40.
Yes.
The other day I was so shocked. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Which year were you born in? Yes, so, yeah. But
The year that you and mommy got...
Right? Yeah, but I love that nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my guy.
That's stunning. That's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
This has been such a wholesome conversation. It flowed so beautifully. There's someone at home who has what they possibly deem or regard as, whether lack or lack of privilege or an unfortunate circumstance, because everything starts in the mind. I mean, with you had that fire that you looked at your dad and you saw a world of possibilities. But somebody else may have exactly the same situation, whether a parent or a child has some form or other disability, and they just think, you know what, it's just, this is beyond me. What word of encouragement, what word of upliftment do you have for such a person who is in the exact position that you were in as a child, with a father who was deaf, experiencing exclusion, experiencing, not being given the sufficient recognition, sometimes even respect because of their disability? What do you have to say to them?
I mean, it's hard. It's not easy, because then the community would exclude them. Kids will make fun of you at school, and kids are mean.
Correct, yeah.
But just that might be your uniqueness. I have used what was deemed as shameful to be used as praise. I wouldn't be sitting on this couch if my father wasn't deaf. I would not have met you I would not have met all the heads of state if my father wasn't deaf. So I used that what was deemed as a shameful thing, as ihlazo, as probably was
Something
bewitched,
weird,
and
yes.
what. I took that and fueled it into positivity and turned it into something beautiful.
Yes.
Because now family members want to learn sign language and their kids must find a way.
Yes.
You know, whether your parent is blind or deaf or have any disability, use that as your magic,
Yes.
as something that's unique, something that you're selling. Because I'm selling my father's story.
Right?
I'm that girl with a deaf father.
Exactly.
You know,
legacy.
You know what I mean? And that used to
That's
be,
the title of your book.
And that used to,
girl
they
with the
used
deaf
to
father.
make fun of me, you know,
Yes.
including my husband. It's like, oh, you're just a girl with a deaf father, you know? And I was like, yeah, I am.
Sure.
Actually, I am. I'm that girl with a deaf father.
Yeah.
And I'm that girl who gets to sit next to the president.
Yes.
I'm the girl who gets to dine with heads of states. I'm the girl who gets to sit here. I'm the girl who gets to do all these amazing things because my father is deaf. And that is my magic. So find your magic. Find a way of turning that into something glorious and something beautiful.
Whew. Right. This is so beautiful.
Yes.
Did you hear the title of your book? Do you know it?
The Girl with the Deaf Father. Yeah.
That's the title of your book.
I am that girl. When you see me, say, hey, the girl with the deaf father. That's me. I wear it with such pride now. Yes.
And
it's that reclaiming.
Yes.
You know how the word nigger used to be used?
Yes.
Where we are claiming it now, not Americans.
But we are taking away
we're
the
taking away,
negativity.
yes, and just making it, yeah, I am black.
Yes.
Yeah.
And beautiful and powerful
and
with supreme genes.
And I'm a female.
Yes.
And I can do it all.
Yes.
And I deserve it all.
I love this.
Yes.
Andy, thank you so much. Time flew by. You
Right?
know, it was just like, it felt like we're somewhere on a holiday destination,
Ma'am,
just having this amazing,
I
beautiful
think your next one should be, let's try Zanzibar.
No, of course. I mean,
Yes.
you know, and this is what I always teach my audience, and I hope you grasp that. And he says that I'm the girl with the deaf father who took that and made it into magic. And this is what I always say. Everything is energy, right? Everything. Life is spiritual. We are more spiritual than being physical. Therefore, anything that is in your life, whether positive or negative, that has, an impact on you, just take a step back a little bit and try and find the magic. Heartbreak. Try find the magic within heartbreak to actually alchemize, be an alchemist. And we are seeing now more than ever that people are using their negative because energy never dies, right? It only transforms. So if you have something that you think, that you assume, that you deem, right? It may not necessarily be negative, but it may seem like it is negative. Step back for a moment and see how you can actually transform that energy to work for you. We've seen even great artists. We all know that when a certain artist releases an album, they've gone through heartbreak, it means it's going to be a fire album. You have the power to catalyze, you have the power to alchemize, you have the power to transform. As Andy said, I'm the girl with a deaf father. And because my father is deaf, I get to sit with the heads of state. I don't know what else to do. I would not know what else to say. This is Bemovation, where beauty meets motivation. Please believe in your uniqueness, believe in your beauty. Andy, thank you so much. That was amazing. I can't wait to watch this episode because it was just...
Thank you. And time flew.
Right?
Yes.
A whole pack of awesomeness.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yes.
So please tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your friend, actually tell your ex to subscribe to this channel so that they can be a better person. Until next time, this is Bemovation, where beauty meets motivation.
Thank you.
It's a wrap. Thank you.